What's going on, everybody? This is not gonna, hopefully, not gonna be a long video. I'm just gonna try to, explain to you guys my view on the market right now, because I know, right now, honestly, everybody's seeing different shit, because that's part of a consolidation. A consolidation, there's gonna be no clear direction. For me, there's no clear direction. So we're gonna start with our daily chart. So as I said, I'm gonna outline real quick what my storyline is in case you didn't watch the video. So storyline for me is the first part of our storyline. When the week opened, I said how I thought, and I still think, that we are going to attempt to tap into this 50%, right? So a reason why I'm more why I prefer 50 over 61 is 50 wouldn't break structure, in my opinion, right? If you look at where this low came from, it came from here, right? You have that push down, and then you push up, and then a down, right? So these are your lower highs. So if we tap 50 and that same range point, that's a sufficient pullback to continue price down, right? And then after that, what I was going to be expecting, let me after we were going to get that, I was going to be expecting a pretty big sell off to continue the big bullish fib, right? So we were going to be expecting from around that level a push down to extend the lows and tap either 50 or 61, somewhere in that range, right? Right now we have our daily 50 EMA right around 50%, and if you go to weekly, they'll be somewhere around there, if I'm correct or not. Yeah, somewhere around there, right? As the weeks go by, the 21 will end up coming up higher, right? Which you can see weekly likes to use 21, right? So here's a quick example. So price, when it was bullish here, and if you were to just say, okay, well, here's your high, here's your low, and then you just went pushing, right? This is probably honestly the example I was giving in the big video. You have 21 and then you tap 78. I don't think we're going to get 78 because it's just really far. Really, really far. I don't think we're going to get that. Right, that's my storyline. That's why, I do have that still long-term bullish bias right now. But yeah, so on the daily chart, nothing has, like, look, we have a double bottom, right? I believe double bottoms, double tops are meant to be broken, right? So eventually that is going to break. What is it going to be tomorrow? No fucking idea, right? But we had all that selling pressure this week, and we just couldn't make a new low, right? Go to 4 hour, same thing. The way that I see this structure, right? The way that I look at the market is, here is your low, right? Then where did this come from? Well, some people will argue, oh, well, the prior lower highs are up here. Okay, you can, and that's still valid because those are the highs we would come for with the 50 fib, right? But I take a look at how you have this push down and then this pullback right here. So that is the lower high I'd be looking at, right? You broke that. So even if you're not counting these lower highs right here, well, after this high, or whatever you want to call it, is made, what happened? Okay, you came all the way back down, but you respected the low. So this is a higher low. Then what happened? You shot back up, and what did you do? You broke that high. That means this is a higher high. This is bullish price action, right? Now, you had a whole bunch of fuckery from that initial high, right? You have a whole bunch of fuckery right there. And then current prices, what are we doing? We pulling back, right? Now, we have no problem coming down $36 in a 4 hour, but then we just sit sideways at a range point. Range points are awesome. But you couldn't go down. How many more pips did you need to go down? Couldn't have been that much, right? From prior higher low to the low, 13 pips, right? That's nothing. We see 15-minute candles with that every day. So that tells you that, to me, you're still bullish, right? Because you have a low, you have a high, right? We'll just say that. Then you have a higher, I have the magnet on, higher low. Then you have a higher high. I don't know how people be making it their I can't write with a cursor. Then what do you have here? You also have a higher low. So at a minimum, this price, what will it do? It will either put in a lower high or it will put in a higher. I don't know how people write with a fucking cursor. Right. So are we going to have this area be a lower high? Are we going to come up a bit further? Or are we going to extend to a new higher high? I don't fucking know, right? Because like I say, all these time frames, they're kind of confusing right now, right? And when it's confusing, 9 times out of 10, it's confusing when you're in a consolidation, right? And that's what we are in. We are trading between that first high and the corresponding low that came from it. That's what we're trading in. We've been trading in there for like a week now, right? So that high was made, and then to today, 7 days. So that's a week. Now, if you go down to a lower time frame, which we will, this is where you had people like Pablo saying, I don't know why people are trying to buy. I'm seeing lower lows and in lower highs. Okay, yes, you do have, for instance, right? You have in this internal structure, because this structure is internal of the 4 hour, just like the 4 hour is internal of the daily, right? You have a low, which then brought a lower high. Then you have a lower low. But then here, where did price go after that? That's where it left another lower high. Then you have a lower low. But from that lower low, what did you do? You broke above the prior lower high, right? So that's why we tried to buy somewhere in here, and like we got pips and then we fucking lost them just as quick as we got them, right? And then here you have your little double top again. You end up breaking this minor structure, and then overall just breaking down and making those lower lows with a lower high, with a lower low, lower low, lower low. But then here's where it gets interesting again, right? Because here's your low. Then what did you do? You came up. You never broke lower than this. So what did you do recently from that same lower high, right? You broke it. Then if you're looking at this as your high, you left a low, and then you ended up extending the same fucking high. So to me right now, this price action is bullish. Now, think about it also at the same time. What has happened every single time? Oh my God, that's a lot of lines. What has happened every single time that we have tapped our 34, 35 range point? One time, two time. What has happened? You have seen a minimum price of magnet. Minimum price we saw was 40.29, right? You tap, where did you go? The 29. You tap, where did you go? You went higher to make the higher high. So in my opinion, we are coming to this zone, right? Then now there are two zones that you could see prior to that, right? If you want to keep this as a bearish structure but still pull back, I would look around that range point. If you want to extend to a new higher high, I would look at that major range point. Both of those have meaning on the contrary, right? Or not contrary, but both of them have stronger meaning too. Here on this fib, the range point is also the 61 fib. If you take a look, that 50 fib has been broken by so much, it's basically trying to hint at you that they really do want to try to go to 61. On a larger fib, it's like 38, I believe. Then at the same time, if you're saying, well, where did this big move come from? Well, I would use this high, right? 78. So I said there's two other reasons why at each of those range points. So at a minimum, I would say we'll see 4,009, then that 40.30, and possibly the 40.55. That is the biggest problem right now. Is I do have that bullish bias, but there are reasons why people have been selling. There are reasons why we've been trying to buy. It's just one big fucking consolidation from here to here, right? In an ideal world, when you broke this high, you would have just pushed back bullish. Or what you would have done is when you first pulled back and you tapped this golden zone, you would have made a fresh high. You didn't get that. We extended the consolidation, but we did not extend the lows. So, like, no hate to Pablo. I get why he's saying what he's saying. I'm really just explaining to you guys why I see what I see and why right now there's, like, I keep telling myself I'm not going to trade, and then I keep trying to trade. And I need to just fuck off for a couple days until we break this big consolidation phase with a decisive move, right? With a big volume move, because like I said, the the storyline I'm painting is that we want to come up to 41.35. So if we get a break above 40.55, that still leaves almost 1,000 pips, right? And say that we get a break below 38.95, I want to come to a minimum of the 38.50 area. That leaves still about 500 pips for us to trade. So, that's what I'm going to hold myself to, is I really do not want any more fucking trades in this consolidation. There are, like I said, I there are two reasons I would get in a trade, right? I would possibly get in a buy if we come back to these lows and we, for some reason, tap 50 fib again, right? I don't think it's going to happen because we've already used 50 fib, right, from those lows, right? We used 50 and we went up. But if it were to happen, if there was a really good rejection from golden zone or 786, then I probably would buy. Now, at the same time, not breaking the consolidation, I would also possibly take a sell if we reject hard off of 78, right? 78, or, mixed with that range point. So yeah, I really wanted this to be a short video, but it's fucking 11 minutes. So I'm done right now for you guys. I guess I'll upload this publicly. So if you're watching this, link in the bio, fucking join the team. Um, but that's my view on the market, and I really do not want to take any trades until we break out of this massive consolidation. But hopefully the analysis helped you guys to understand at least what I'm seeing. Even if you don't agree with my points, maybe I gave you a little bit of insight that adds to your own, storyline, to your own analysis. And, that's the goal. So hopefully you guys have been having a good week, and hopefully you're able to end it just as good as you started it.